Hello everybody, this is Blank here, and welcome to the 81st instalment of Underworld Updates, the triumph of the 60s. Now, as you all probably know, 60s Doctor Who is my favourite era of the show. It's where the show was at its most creative and its most compelling for characters and stories. It's just the absolute best in my opinion. The run of 50 TV stories there was in the show, and today in Underworld Updates 81, the triumph of the 60s, I am going to be paying tribute to 1960s era Doctor Who as a whole and unboxing an array of 60s era related Doctor Who items, some of which are pretty incredible to have. I'm looking at one right now that actually isn't a 60s era item, and it's pretty unreal to have, and you'll be seeing that in the first sort of unboxing that I will be showing second to next after this clip. But yeah, this video went through a lot of changes and stuff, such as I was only planning to have this to be the only Underworld update that there was going to be released throughout the entire year. I was only going to have one massive Underworld update that was going to be like 6 hours long or something like that, and just have a fuck ton of 60s era merchandise in it. I was going to go so far with this collection update to the point where I was hoping to buy every single 1960s era Big Finish audio release that I didn't have yet for the video, but because of behind the scenes decisions and stuff, I am truncating this collection update from around 6, maybe even more hours, down to 2 hours, because another sort of opportunity for myself later on in this year, I guess you would call it, for I'm just going to say a convention. I won't specify what just yet, but another opportunity for another convention has come up, and I want to try and save some money for that, just in case I do end up going. So I've decided to truncate my 60s era collection update video, which is this, down quite a bit, but I am still going to be unboxing some pretty nice stuff throughout the 2-ish hours that I will be presenting to you guys in the form of this video. Most of which is going to be a 60s era collection update, as you can tell by the title. But there is 2 items that are not 1960s era items. How this is going to work, I'm going to be displaying 3 books first of all, 2 of which are non-60s, 2 of which are 60s era books. The other one is non-1960s era. I will then go into the first unboxing, which I'm just simply titling Prologue, as it's actually a non-60s era book, and then from there on it's all 1960s era stuff, going into unboxing all of the Big Finish audios I have bought for this video, and then topping it off with 4 W.H. Allen hardbacks that I have purchased for this video, one of which I am very happy to have and means a lot to me. It's incredible to have this particular W.H. Allen hardback. I think that pretty much sums up the introduction. Onto the first clip of this massive Underworld update, which is the showcasing of the 3 Doctor Who paperback books that I will be showing for this video. I'm not going to go too much into depth with these books. I'm just going to sort of briefly show what they are and talk about them, and I'm going to go much more in depth with all of the items and stuff that I'm going to be unboxing. So for the first paperback, we have a 1970s copy of Doctor Who and the Cybermen by Jerry Davis. This is a novelisation of the Moon Base, and I have the 2011-2012 reprint of this Doctor Who Target book, and I've got to say it's one of my favourite Target books of all time. I've read the other edition of this I have, and it's jaw-droppingly good. It's absolutely incredible, and I would say it is my second favourite Target novelisation of all time. The novelisation of the Moonbase. If you love 60s era Doctor Who Cybermen, you need to read this Target novelisation, as they are so 60s in this adaptation of the Moonbase television story. They go as far as to say that humans are retarded for having emotions. It's absolutely incredible, and Jerry Davis has wonderfully captured the Cybermen in this Target novelisation in terms of encapsulating the essence of 60s era Cybermen. This is the second best Target novelisation I've ever read, and I'd highly recommend it if you're a fan of 60s Doctor Who, particularly 60s era Cybermen. For the next sort of paperback, this is a 2011-2012 reprint that I picked up with the next one. This charity shop had I believe about 6, maybe 8 of the 2011-2012 Target reprints that the BBC did, and they had 2 in there that I didn't have, and I got those ones. They were £1 each, or buy one get one free, so technically both of these books were only 50p, which is pretty great, and they are in really good condition. So for the first one we have Doctor Who and the Crusaders. I have reviewed this Target novelisation in the past, courtesy of a W.H. Allen hardback 1985 edition that I have, and I also have a Frederick Muller replica book, so this is my 3rd edition of the book. But yeah, I have reviewed this Doctor Who book in the past, and it's a bit iffy in my opinion. A lot of people say that this is a really good Target novelisation, but it lacks the power and viciousness that the original TV story of the Crusade had for me personally, which what made it a pretty interesting story. I don't like it as much nowadays, but this was sort of back when, like, the Crusade was pretty much my favourite Doctor Who story of all time, and I just couldn't help but feel very disappointed by the adaptation, as it just lacked any of the power or raw viciousness that the original TV story had. It seems like David Whittaker just failed to capture what was good about the Crusade originally in this Target novelisation, which is very odd considering it was him, David Whittaker himself, adapting a story by David Whittaker. So yeah, bit of an odd Target in my opinion, and it's one of the weaker ones that I've read, but it is nice to have it in my collection. For the second and last little paperback that I'll be showing, this is the first of 2 non-1960s era items that I'll be showing in this video. The next one of which, as I said in the prologue, will be the first unboxing. This Target paperback is of the Cave Monsters. Yes, I have heard nothing but positive things about this Target novelisation. This is meant to be one of the absolute greatest Target novelisations of all time, and I am really interested in reading it. I have 2 different editions of this book, one of which is a 1970s edition, and I have not read that one yet, as it's a bit tatty and sort of nearly falling apart, so it's nice to have this as a sort of reading copy, a bit more sturdy and a bit more sort of I'm trying to think here, stable for reading purposes, I want to say. But yeah, this is meant to be an absolutely incredible Target novelisation, and I am most certainly hyped for reading this Target novelisation, as I have heard nothing but good things about this Target novelisation, and people have said that it's the greatest Target novelisation of all time, so I am most certainly hyped for reading the Target novelisation of Doctor Who and the Cave Monsters. And now on to the first unboxing of the video, prologue. Welcome to the very first unboxing in this video, which I'm going to just simply title Prologue. I'm not going to give too much away on this, but I'm only going to give you guys a couple clues. 1. It's actually not a 1960s era item. Secondly, is extremely rare. That's what I'm going to say. I just saw this thing on eBay, looking around. It was going for a good price. I bid on it, and I ended up getting this item for only 70 quid. 71 quid including postage. Last time this thing was on eBay, it sold for £525. Yeah, I got it for a bargain. I honestly cannot believe I have what's within this parcel here. I seriously cannot flipping believe that I have this thing. Oh my giddy arms. Oh my Jesus-ing Christ. Oh my fucking god, I cannot believe that I have this book. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, you've only been given 3 clues about this. 1. It's not a 60s era item. 2. It is extremely rare. Prices I have given on eBay of what it recently sold for. I spent 72 quid on this, 71 actually, pardon me. And it's a book. Well, I have the absolute honour, my fellow Whovians, to present to you the Alan Wingate hardback of Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion. Wow, I honestly don't know what to say. This is the absolute rarest Target hardback, and I have it. Yeah, as I said, this is not a 60s era item, and I'm fully aware of that. Well, the episodes were actually filmed in the 60s originally, but whatever. But I just saw this trending for extremely good price on eBay. As I said, I got this thing for £71, and I just thought it'd been an absolutely amazing way to kickstart this video, and it most certainly is. What could be better than opening up a collection video than by unboxing a flipping Alan Wingate hardback of Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion. And fun fact, this is actually the very first Alan Wingate hardback I actually have in my collection. At this point in time, I don't have any others in my collection. I may have by the time this video comes out, but at this point in time I don't have any others. This is my very first Alan Wingate hardback. So for the presentation of this titan of a book, we have Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion, Terrance Dicks, based on the popular BBC television serial. Then for the cover itself we have a very bubbly almost Coca-Cola chocolate, like chocolate bar aero bubble like background, with a planet back there, some lightning shocks there, circles there containing the nesting consciousness, the Third Doctor and Nicholas Courtney as and the Brigadier there. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who in the Auton Invasion, Terrance Dicks. Library sticker there. As you can see, this is been discolorized and stuff, as it was originally meant to be brown, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's just such an amazing feeling to have this, in my opinion. And then there you've got the back there, which is just a slate of brown. Then for the interior, or actually before the interior, I am going to be very careful here and actually show you what this book looks like without the dust jacket. And yes, this is actually the Alan Wingate hardback of the Auton Invasion. Somebody hasn't just put a Alan Wingate sleeve over a W.H. Allen hardback edition of this and just called it a day. It is actually the Alan Wingate hardback of the Auton Invasion. So there you go, Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion, Terrance Dicks, Wingate, and then there you've got the back there. It's just a very nice sort of blue sort of cover, which is quite different to other Target hardbacks with dust jackets. Normally they are sort of like sort of a darker sort of shade of blue or verging on black with sort of hints of grey, I think. I'm trying to think back to what my Auton Invasion, no, my Robots of Death one looks like. Then for the actual interior of this book, we have the synopsis, reviews, ISBN number, £1.75 net, the original price. In this, the first adventure of his third incarnation, Doctor Who, Liz Shaw and the Brigadier grapple with the nightmarish invasion of the Autons, living giant-sized plastic-modelled humans with no hair and sightless eyes, waxwork replicas and trailers, dummies whose murderous behaviour is directed by the nesting consciousness, a malignant squid-like monster of cosmic proportions and incredibly hideous appearance. And then Dave has got a couple of reviews here. This Doctor Who adventure, televised spirit from space, wins my vote as the best in the lifetime of the series so far by Matthew Coday, the Daily Mirror, and Doctor Who, the children's own programme which adults adore, Gerald Garrett, the Daily Sketch. And then Dave got various ex-library guff, so this thing survived in libraries from like pretty much a decade actually. As you can see here, this thing was in a library pretty much for a complete decade. So it was first withdrawn on 30th November 1981, and then it was withdrawn again in 1989. There's actually more numbers behind it, so can I peel this bit up? I'm not going to try and remove this because I don't want to damage the book. And oh, I see, they've just stuck another one behind it, so it might have been, yeah, I can see further dates behind it, so it might have been in this library for 20 years or something, as this book did come out 71, I want to say. I could be really wrong about that. Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion, the changing face of Doctor Who. The cover illustration and others contained within this book portrayed the third Doctor whose physical appearance was altered by the Time Lords when they banished him to the planet Earth in the 20th century time zone. I love how they put time zone at the bottom there, very nice sort of reference to the War Games. And then there you've got, also published in the Longbow series by Alan Wingate Publishers Limited, Doctor Who and the Cave Monsters, the story of the Loch Ness Monster and the Creepy Crawly book. The book is sold to the condition that is blah 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 blah. Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion, based on the BBC television serial Doctor Who and the Spearhead from Space, by Robert Holmes, by arrangement with British Broadcasting Corporation, Terrance Dicks, illustrated by Chris Archelios, Alan Wingate, London. And then there you've got various copyright guff there, and then the contents. This is a 149-page long Doctor Who book spread across 10 core chapters, and throughout the book we are just interspliced with these really nice sort of illustrations, as you can see there. There's one example there. And there's another example there. And I might as well show this one as well. Very, very nice illustrations. Then at the very back there we've got advertisements for Doctor Who and the Cave Monsters, Malcolm Hulk, Doctor Who and the Loch Ness Monster, Creepy Crawly book, and then there you've got a back there for a bit about Terrance Dicks there, the legend himself,
yeah, and I have a couple autographs from him because he's a fucking legend. But yeah, that was the first unboxing within this massive, primarily 60s era themed collection update. A unboxing of the Alan Wingate hardback of Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion. As I said, I know this is not necessarily a 60s era related item, but it was going for an extremely good price on eBay, so I just decided to get it. And it's an honour to have this flipping Doctor Who book in my collection, and it's unreal to like have it. It's just incredible. And I don't think I really have anything more to say than that. On to the sort of actual start of the video, which is the sort of common books, I do believe. I don't quite know yet because this is one of the very first things I'm recording. I think this is about the 5th thing I'm recording for this video. But yeah, on to the next section. And now we move on to the second part of this massive Underworld Update 60s era madness, and with the very first Big Finish unboxing that I'll be doing for this video. Looking at my shelves, it is seriously insane how much Big Finish I've bought for this video, and it all starts with this release in here. So, what is this Big Finish release? Oh, it is a blackface as well, of the Red Planet. The very first Big Finish I shall be unboxing for this entire video is the genesis of the Ice Warriors, basically. This is the penultimate Lost story release that there ever was, and I am most certainly hyped in listening to it. So without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation of this audio. Doctor Who, Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury perform Lords of the Red Planet by Brian Hales, adapted by John Dorney. By Brian, with a picture of the second Doctor down there, featuring Michael Troughton, Abigail Faw, Charlie Hayes, with Nicholas Briggs as the Ice Warriors. 50 years, Big Finish, the Lost Stories, and then for the cover we have numerous Ice Warrior eggs down there, a big Ice Warrior claw bursting through Mars, with Jamie and Zoe there. Absolutely fantastic cover. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who, Lords of the Red Planet 4.3, Big Finish, with a nice picture of the second Doctor there. And then for the back we have the synopsis, the cast, and various copyright guff here. Running times 180 minutes approximately. Doctor Who, The Lost Stories, Lords of the Red Planet, written by Brian Hales, adapted by John Dorney, directed by Lisa Bowerman. The Lost Stories, adventures that were originally devised for the Doctor Who television series but never made, now available to hear for the first time. The TARDIS crew land on Mars, home of the Ice Warriors, far back in its history. The Doctor is convinced it's much too early for them to meet their frozen foes, but the Doctor is wrong. Far below the surface of the planet, an evil scheme is in motion. A scientist works night and day at the command of an insane deposit, a deposit intent on creating a terrifyingly familiar army. What exactly does Zada plan? What dark secret lies at the heart of the Grandonan mines? How far will the Doctor go to save his friends? In the deepest caves, the true Lords of the Red Planet are ready to emerge. Can anyone possibly survive their birth? Performed by Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury, with Michael Troughton as Quendril, Abigail Faw as Zada, Charlie Hayes as Veltra, Nicholas Briggs as Aslor, Ressor, and the Ice Warriors. Then for the interior we have the first disc containing the first 3 parts, or the first 2 parts rather, with the alternative cover there. And then there you've got the booklet, which I'll take a look at in a moment. the second disc containing the third and fourth parts, the third disc here containing parts 5 to 6, and then there you've got advertisements for other lost stories in the range. And then for the book, there we have sort of the cover for the sort of original cover there, sort of compared with the alternative cover there, which I much prefer. And then we have production notes, Lords of the Red Planet, picture from the story there. And for the next page we have, oh look, we've got a pile of shit in the middle of the booklet. And then there you've got advertisements for Doctor Who magazine, credits, and then production, and then sort of a photo of the cast there. Then there you've got the alternative cover. The first big finish I unboxed in this video was the Lords of the Red Planet, a Doctor Who audio in which I am most certainly hyped and listening to, and I will be reviewing this in the future sometime, as I am really looking forward to reviewing this audio and listening to it. It seems like it's going to be one hell of a ride, and the synopsis really intrigued me and the reviews really intrigued me. I am just really excited to be reviewing and looking at Lords of the Red Planet. On to the next unboxing we ascend. The Emperor of Eternity. So without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation of this audio. So we have Doctor Who, The Emperor of Eternity, performed by Deborah Watling, by Nigel Robinson, with Fraser Hines as Jamie McCrimmon, Classic Doctors, Brand New Adventures, The Companion Chronicles, Big Finish, and then for the cover itself we've got a very nice sort of picture of sort of Jamie and Victoria there, here hiding in clouds with this very nice sort of orange sepia tint. And then there you've got sort of big Chinese oriental flag with all sorts of soldiers and stuff down there. As Pertwee Smith 11 said, it really does remind you a lot of the third Mummy movie. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who, The Emperor of Eternity, 4.8 Big Finish, and then there's a nice picture of the second Doctor there. And then for the back we have the synopsis, Doctor Who, various copyright guff, and this audio runs for 60 minutes approximately. The Emperor of Eternity, written by Nigel Robinson, directed by Lisa Bowerman. A new adventure for the second Doctor as told by his companion Victoria. After colliding with a meteor in space, the TARDIS is forced to make an emergency landing on Earth. The place is China around 200 BC during the reign of the first Emperor, Qin. When the Doctor is taken away to the Imperial City, it's up to Victoria and Jamie to save him. Their friend is now a prisoner of Qin, who intends to extract the secrets of eternal life so they may rule the world forever. Performed by Deborah Watling as Victoria Waterfield, with Fraser Hines as Jamie McCrimmon. The Emperor of Eternity takes place between the Web of Fear and the incredible Fury from the Deep, which I actually listened to yesterday, the day prior to recording this unboxing, and I will most likely be reviewing it sometime during when I've got all of my Phase 1 closed down videos out of the way, with this being one of them. And then there I've got the disc there, with sort of advertisements for other Companion Chronicles at the back there. And then there we've got the booklet. Here's the cover again with the producer notes, writers Nigel Robinson, picture of the cast, credits, advertisements for Doctor Who magazine, and then there you've got a back there with just a bit of character bio on the second Doctor, Victoria Waterfield and Jamie McCrimmon. So yes, this is a audio that intrigues me quite a bit actually, as we haven't had many pure historicals at all with Chaz, and we only got the Highlanders with him on TV, and it's nice to get the occasional extra sort of Troughton historical in the expanded media. So yeah, I'm really interested in giving this audio a listen, as I do like the Roundheads, which is a really good sort of historical book in my opinion, so I hope this continues the trend of good historical Troughton stories. But yeah, there was The Emperor of Eternity by Nigel Robinson. Alright then, on to the next unboxing in this video. Today I'm going to be unboxing two Big Finish releases that I picked up on the 30th of January from my local Forbidden Planet when I went up to Belfast. These are two early adventure releases, both from the 4th series of this audio range. First one being The Outliers, which is in fact it's the second one from this range. I actually thought this was the first one, but I guess I'm wrong. But yeah, so here we go. Let's unbox it. So yeah, I've heard nothing but praise from this audio drama, and I have listened to 3 other Big Finish audios that I unboxed by Simon Guerrier in this video already, and those were very good, two of which are just outstanding. But yeah, so without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation of this Doctor Who audio release. So we have BBC Doctor Who, Anarchy Wills and Fraser Hines in The Outliers by Simon Guerrier, Doctor Who, featuring Elliot Chapman, Debbie Chazin, Alistair Petrie. Big Finish, Brand New Adventures, The Early Adventures, very nice picture of the second Doctor there, very nice sort of electronic technological background, with some sort of icy things there, some sort of symbols, a big jellyfish, big sort of crystalline explosion, Jamie, the Ben, Polly, the first Doctor, or the second Doctor rather, in a sort of big spacesuit with a sort of bubbly sort of helmet, treading water with a very nice sort of modern home-like background. Very interesting cover with the audio adventures of Doctor Who on the spine there. So we have Doctor Who The Outliers 4.2 Big Finish, and then for the back we have the synopsis and cast, Doctor Who, various copyright guff, and the running time, which is 120 minutes approximately. The Outliers, written by Simon Guerrier. The TARDIS takes the Doctor, Ben, Polly and Jamie to a flooded underground town on an alien world. The streets are empty, the houses are bare, not a trace of life. The miners working here are vanishing, and it isn't long before the time travellers are suspected of being responsible for the disappearances. But even the authorities haven't fully realised the scale of the problem. There's something else on this world, something dragging people away, and it won't stop until it's taken them all. And for the interior of this Doctor Who release, we have the alternative cover there, which appeals to me a lot. And then there we've got the first disc there. And how do you open? You open this way, please do, thank you very much. And then we've got the second disc there on the right hand side, and other advertisements for other early adventures, but a couple of which I hope to be picking up, the Yes Men, iSource Network, and maybe the Forsaken. So there we go, there was the CDs there. And now for the sort of booklets. So we have the sort of main cover there with the alternative there, which I'm going to be swapping it around to, as I love it. And then we've got advertisements for the Morton Legacy, which intrigues me a little. Yeah, that sounds quite nice. Sort of treads maybe a bit of Web of Fear episode 1 with a collection that leads to death. And then there you've got advertisements for Doctor Who magazine, production credits there, and then the alternative cover once again there. So yes, The Outliers is a Big Finish Doctor Who release that I am most interested in listening to. I think my hype lies with the next release that I'm about to show you, but this still intrigues me greatly nonetheless, and I am looking forward to listening to Doctor Who The Outliers by Simon Guerrier. And if the Sarah Kingdom trilogy is anything to hold Simon Guerrier's other audios too, but this is going to be great audio, as I love that trilogy. And for the next one, and the final sort of audio in this little duet unboxing, we have the season finale from the 4th series of the Early Adventures, The Wreck of the World. around the world. Doop 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 doop. Blip bloop bloop blip bloop blip bloop blip bloop blip bloop bloop. So yes, there we go. So there we go. Now let's take a look at the presentation of this audio drama. So we have BBC, Doctor Who, Wendy Padbury and Fraser Hines in The Wreck of the World by Timothy X Attack, featuring a Richemida, Richenda, Carrie and Don McCorkindale, brand new adventures, the early adventures. And for the cover itself, sort of with this very nice sort of technological sort of background, sort of reminiscent of the cover to The Outliers a little. We've got this sort of very sort of nice technological sort of background to it, so maybe that's an arc that runs through this series. I don't particularly know, as I haven't listened to any of them yet. But yeah, so we have the first, so that again, we've got the second Doctor there. Very nice sort of technological circuit background, sort of meteors and stuff, sort of throwing out of this sort of very nice sort of backgrounded with grey sort of and white cover with sort of echoes of the Troughton sequence up there and down there. We have a sort of nice sort of triangular pattern of more circuitry, a evil looking computer up there, massive space station, TARDIS, asteroids and stuff, Jamie, the Doctor and Zoe up there. And then we have the audio adventures of Doctor Who on the side once again there. And then we have the spine, Doctor Who, The Wreck of the World 4.4, big finish, nice picture of Troughton. And then, oh dear, that's not good, a bit of the audio fell out there. So yeah, this is a little broken somewhere, I can't quite see where yet. But a little bit of plastic from the case just fell out there. Then we have the wreck of the, so for the back we have Doctor Who, running time 120 minutes approx, various copyright guff, the synopsis, and then the cast there. The Wreck of the World, written by Timothy X Attack. Undergoing repairs deep in deep space, the TARDIS is caught in a collision with the huge, decaying wreck of a starship. Zoe, spacewalking, is separated from her companions in the crash, and the Doctor and Jamie wake to find the TARDIS fused to the side of the ship. Venturing inside to rescue their friend, they discover that they are on board the World, the very first colony ship to leave Earth, lost mid-voyage under unknown circumstances. And they are not alone. A terrible suspension chamber is filled with dead, withered human bodies, and a team of gun-tossing astronauts are stalking the corridors. But a far greater threat lurks deep inside. A terrifying force responsible for the scuttling of this ship is active once more, and if it can't be stopped, it won't just be the end of this world, it will be the end of all of them. And then for the interior, we have the booklet there with the alternative cover, which I just adore, because alternative 60s era covers with Big Finish are awesome. We've got the first disc there, which is killing my fucking OCD. Come on, you bitch. There we go. So you've got parts 1 and 2 there, with that's pretty much perfect on there. Look at that. With parts 3 and 4 there. Then they've got advertisements for other early adventure releases, 3 from Series 3, 2 rather, and then 3 from Series 4. And then there you've got the booklet. So we have the original cover there compared to the alternative cover. And then they've got a picture of the cast, Doctor Who magazine, and then production credits there. So yes, I think out of these 2 releases I am most hyped for The Wreck of the World, as it sounds the best in my opinion, even though I haven't actually heard very much of it, but just by going by blurbs and stuff, The Wreck of the World sounds like the best audio out of the 2. But then again, that one's written by an unknown writer, and this one's written by the legendary Simon Guerrier, so who knows how the land lies with these audios. But yeah, nonetheless, I am greatly interested in reviewing and listening to these audios sometime in the future for you guys. So yeah, on to the next unboxing. on to the next unboxing we go. Quite an easy one to open this, and this is, ooh, nice one. This is, let me have a little look here, the beginning of the third part of this Underworld Update mega episode, the Anachronauts. Yeah. So for the cover we have Doctor Who, Jean Marsh and Peter Purves in the Anachronauts by Simon Guerrier, Big Finish 2-disc special adventure, as this is actually a 2-disc release, companion chronicle release. Then there we've got a picture of the first Doctor there, Classic Doctors, New Monsters, Hunting something sign. Then they've got a very sort of rainy background with Peter Purves as Stephen there and Jean Marsh as Sarah Kingdom there. Big sort of light diversing them there, big explosion there, planet in the background there, and what looks like Sarah Kingdom with like a skull for her head and her hair flowing in the wind. It's really creepy and really epic of a cover. And then for the spine there we have Doctor Who, the Anachronauts 6.7 Big Finish, picture of the first Doctor there. And then for the back we have the synopsis. Doctor Who, running time is 60 minutes approx, which is incorrect considering this is a 2-disc release. And then there you've got a sort of character, or not sort of character, but copyright guff down there. And now for the synopsis. The Anachronauts, written by Simon Guerrier, directed by Kent Bedley, a new adventure for the first Doctor is told by his companions Stephen and Sarah. An experimental time ship smashes into the TARDIS, and the crews of both ships wake up on their desert island. Has the TARDIS been destroyed, and why doesn't the Doctor want to escape? Then Stephen and Sarah find themselves to the wrong side of the Berlin Wall in 1966, and the only way back to the TARDIS is to betray the Doctor. Starring Jean Marsh as Sarah Kingdom and Peter Purves as Stephen Taylor. The Anachronauts takes place between the episodes 7 and 8 of the Daleks Master Plan, and there you've got a really nice sort of picture of the TARDIS at the back there. Then for the interior we have the Anachronauts with Part 1, the Island, Part 2, the Door, and then there you've got Disc 2 containing the third and fourth parts, the Wall and the Betrayer. Advertisements for other companion chronicles there, and then there we've got the booklet. For the booklet we have the original cover and then the alternative cover compared, and then there you've got writer's notes, producer notes, nice picture of Jean Marsh and Peter Purves, credits and advertisements for Doctor Who. Yes, I am a really big fan of the sort of expanded sort of area in between episodes 7 and 8 of the Daleks Master Plan, and yeah, I am really looking forward to this audio, and it's going to be quite an interesting one to see, as the synopsis really intrigues me and the cover really intrigues me. So yes, on to the next unboxing.
Then on to the next 2 unboxings actually of this massive 60s era themed collection update, with the 2 parcels that are right here and here. 2 Big Finish audios this time. Let's see what's in them. I think I know which ones these are. And hello Mr. Owl. For this Big Finish audio we have the War to End All Wars. We have BBC Doctor Who, Peter Purves performs The War to End All Wars by Simon Guerrier. Big Finish with Alice Haig as Cedar, The Companion Chronicles, Brand New Adventures. Then there we've got Dodo, the first Doctor there, Stephen, and then all sorts against this sort of big city with a nice sort of explosion down there, trenches, with sort of nice rain effects, sort of big X with lots of fire, barbed wire and stuff. It's a very nice sort of cover. The Audio Adventures of Doctor Who, the War to End All, Doctor Who, The War to End All Wars 8.10, Big Finish, nice picture of the first Doctor up there. And we have the back here, The War to End All Wars, written by Simon Guerrier, directed by Lisa Bauman. The synopsis, the cast, which only 2 people in it, Stephen Taylor, Peter Purves and Cedar by Alice Haig. And then there we've got the sort of various copyright guff and stuff. Running time is 60 minutes approximately. And now for the synopsis. Years after he gave up travelling in the TARDIS, Stephen Taylor is deposed king of a distant world.
From the confines of his cell, he shares his story with a young girl called Cedar, and one story in particular, a visit to a whole world at war, which will mark Stephen for life. So this sounds like quite an interesting story actually, as this takes place after the Savages, interestingly enough, by the sounds of it. Then for the interior, we have the single disc from this release, and advertisements for other companion chronicles, First Doctor ones. And then there we've got the sort of blurb, or not the blurb, what am I saying, the sort of booklet in here. So for the booklet itself, or sort of leaflet rather, you sort of just got writer's notes, a bit of the cover there, credits and producer's notes, and then there you've got the sort of alternative cover art itself, which I'm actually going to put onto actually, as I quite like the alternative cover. So yes, I now have the Wars End All Wars, and it is a audio that I'm looking forward to listening to, and I will be reviewing this one in the future. Or maybe by the time that I have uploaded this video, I would have already listened to it and archived a review for upload. For the next audio, we have, this should be one of a trilogy, and this is, I don't quite know the sequencing of this trilogy, but we have part of the Sarah Kingdom trilogy, Home Truths, and I believe this is the first one in this sort of Sarah Kingdom trilogy. Home Truths, The Drowned World, and Guardian of the Solar System. So yeah, so really nice to have this Big Finish release. We have Doctor Who, Jean Marsh reads Home Truths by Simon Garriott with Neil McGregor as Robert, with a picture of the First Doctor there. Classic Doctors, Brand New Monsters, The Companion Chronicles, Big Finish. For the synopsis, sort of gets set against this sort of kaleidoscopic, sort of dark green and black and tinges of turquoise sort of cover of a sort of starry sky with lightning bolts and rain. We have the Stephen Taylor, the First Doctor, and Sarah Kingdom with a sort of big spooky house down there, with a man standing there who I'm assuming is Robert, with sort of nice sort of marshy looking sort of grass and stuff there, with a big tree and stuff, very sort of spooky and Halloween themed cover. The audio adventures of Doctor Who, or very sort of Halloween-esque cover. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who, Home Truths, 3.5, Big Finish Productions, nice picture of the First Doctor up there. Then we have the back here, synopsis, the various copyright guff here, and the running time, which is 60 minutes approximately. Home Truths, written by Simon Garriott, directed by Lisa Bowerman, a new adventure for the First Doctor as read by his companion Sarah Kingdom. There's a house across the waters of Ely where an old woman tells a strange story about a kind of night constable called Sarah Kingdom and her friends, the Doctor and Stephen, and about a journey they made to a young couple's home and the nightmarish things that were found there, about the follies of youth and selfishness, and the terrible things even the most well-meaning of us can inflict on each other. Hear the old woman's story, then decide her fate. Read by Jean Marsh as Sarah Kingdom with Neil McGregor as Robert. Home Truths takes place between the 7th and 8th episodes of the Daleks Master Plan, and you've got a nice sort of silhouette of the sort of TARDIS there, sort of faded into the John Pertwee title sequence. Very nice sort of effect. Then for the interior we have the sort of booklet and the sort of single disc with advertisements for other companion chronicle releases there behind the disc. And for the little booklet we have the cover once again, sort of producer's notes and writer's notes, picture of the cast there, Neil McGregor and, if that's his name, and Jean Marsh there, with credits, and then the back there we've just got a bit who's who, but about the First Doctor, Stephen Taylor and Sarah Kingdom. So yes, I am greatly looking forward to listening to this Big Finish release and reviewing it in the future for you guys, as Sarah Kingdom is one of my favourite Doctor Who companions. So there was the unboxing of two different Big Finish companion chronicles, Home Truths and The War to End All Wars. From where we last left off in terms of unboxings, I unboxed the Big Finish companion chronicle Home Truths, which is part of the Sarah Kingdom trilogy of Big Finish companion chronicle releases, and we continue that series with the next one in the Sarah Kingdom trilogy, The Drowned World. So for the cover we have Doctor Who Jean Marsh Performs The Drowned World by Simon Guerrier, with Niall McGregor as Robert. Then there you've got the picture of the First Doctor there, Classic Doctors, Brand New Adventures, Companion Chronicles, and then there you've got a very nice sort of cover, this very sort of kaleidoscopic turquoise sort of purplish cover of renditions of the, I believe that's the William Hartnell title sequence. It might be the John Pertwee one. They might be cheating there a little, with sort of mountains in the background, sort of aquatic splashes there, with Sarah Kingdom there, Stephen and the First Doctor there, with a big sort of house in the background there, which I think is the same one from the cover of Home Truths, so it's probably linked. Well, it obviously is, as this is part of a series. And then there you've got sort of other mountains and stuff there. Very nice cover with the audio adventures of Doctor Who Big Finish. And for the spine we have Doctor Who The Drowned World 4.01 Big Finish Companion Chronicles, or Big Finish Productions. And then for the back there we've got a very sort of interesting sort of psychedelic sort of purple and baby sick green sort of rendition of the TARDIS back there, with Doctor Who Big Finish, various copyright guff there. It's the running time of 60 minutes approximately, and then there we've got The Drowned World. And now we have the synopsis. The Drowned World, written by Simon Guerrier, directed by Lisa Bowerman, a new adventure for the First Doctor as told by his companion Sarah Kingdom. Space security agent Sarah Kingdom is dead, her ashes strewn on the planet Kemble, but in an old house in Ely, Sarah Kingdom lives on. To the elders of this ruined world, Sarah is a ghost, a phantom that must be exorcised. She must prove her right to exist, and she does do with stories. So stories of a time when she travelled the universe with an ancient doctor and his heroic companion Stephen inside a magical space-time ship called the TARDIS. And one story in particular could make a difference. The one about their trip to a world covered in water, where a human expedition is being wiped out. It's a battle to survive, as the travellers face the horrors of the drowned world. Performed by Jean Marsh as Sarah Kingdom, with Niall McGregor as Robert, The Drowned World takes place between episodes 7 and 8 of the Daleks Master Plan. Then for the interior we have the single disc, with advertisements for other sort of companion chronicle releases in the back there. And then there we've got the sort of cast there, or sort of a biopic about the First Doctors, Sarah Kingdom and Stephen Taylor, with the cover again there. Sort of writer notes, producer's notes, picture of the cast there, credits, and then advertisements for Doctor Who magazine for the booklet there. So yes, I am greatly looking forward to listening to this Big Finish companion chronicle release, and with the sort of in chronologic order with Drowned World, with Home Truths, The Drowned World, and this next one, which I shall be unboxing now for you guys. Yep, this is the finale to the Sarah Kingdom trilogy. The Drowned World, Home Truths, The Drowned World, and The Guardian of the Solar System, which actually comes in one of these little black cases actually. That is quite interesting, and yeah, that is really cool actually, as I really like these little black cases. I've seen Big Finish releases where they have the sort of black cases here, but I've never actually seen a companion chronicle release with the sort of black spine like this. That is really bizarre and interesting to me. Doctor Who, Jean Marsh performs The Guardian of the Solar System by Simon Guerrier, with sort of the first Doctor there. Big finish with Noel McGregor as Robert. Classic Doctors, Brand New Monsters, The Companion Chronicles. And then for the cover itself, sort of in this sort of, again, very kaleidoscopic sort of space cover, we have Planet Earth, sort of clock in the background, Stephen Taylor, Sarah Kingdom, Movic Chen, the first Doctor down there, another planet there which I'm assuming is Kemble, and then the TARDIS there, very sort of epic sort of cover. And for the spine we have Doctor Who, The Guardian of the Solar System 5.1, Big Finish Productions. And then there we've got the back here, The Guardian of the Solar System, the synopsis, Doctor Who, running time is 60 minutes approx, and then there you've got sort of Big Finish there, and sort of barcode there, and various copyright guff. The Guardian of the Solar System, written by Simon Guerrier, directed by Lisa Bauman. A new adventure for the first Doctor as told by his companion Sarah Kingdom. Space security agent Sarah Kingdom is dead. Her ashes strewn on the planet Kemble, but in an old house in Ely, Sarah Kingdom now lives on, which is a complete copy and paste from this one, but whatever. Now joined in the house by a confident Robert, Sarah recalls her travels in the TARDIS with the Doctor, and a particular adventure when the ship appeared to land inside a giant clock, where old men are caught in its working, and behind this nightmare is their enemy, Mavic Chen, Guardian of the Solar System. Then and now, Sarah's past is catching up with her. The cogs have come full circle. Yeah, this entire trilogy is written by Simon Guerrier, which is interesting. Starring Sarah Kingdom as Jean Marsh, with Robert as Noel McGregor. The Guardian of the Solar System takes place between episodes 7 and 8 of the Daleks Master Plan. Then for the interior we have the single CD there, and for the back there we do have advertisements for more sort of Companion Chronicle releases. If I was just to get the little panel out, as you can see there, season 1 of the Companion Chronicles, and you just sort of put the disc thing there, and that's sort of how you sort of pop it out and stuff, I guess you'd say, even though I didn't show it on camera. There we go. So there's that, The Guardian of the Solar System. And then for the sort of booklet we have Doctor Who, Jean Marsh performs Guardian of the Solar System by Simon Guerrier, with Noel McGregor as Robert. Classic Doctors, Brand New Adventures, The Companion Chronicles, I've already said that. And then for the back there we've got sort of writer's notes by Simon Guerrier, and producer notes, picture of the cast there, credits, and then there you've got advertisements for Doctor Who magazine there, with the alternative cover there. So yeah, it's really annoying actually, as there isn't an alternative cover to this one here, which is really pissing me off, unfortunately, but it's whatever. So yes, there we go. There is an unboxing on 2 more Companion Chronicles, which now signals me completing the sort of Doctor Who, Jean Marsh, Big Finish, Sarah Kingdom Companion Chronicles trilogy, which I shall be reviewing in the future. And on to the next unboxing we ascend. Let's have a little look, see what's inside this parcel. Very nice, easy tear sort of package, and it is, oh, very nice, the Sontarans, a early adventure. So yes, I have heard nothing but good things about this Big Finish audio ever since it was released, and yeah, I am really interested in listening to this Big Finish audio. Simon Guerrier is on fire in my opinion. He is such a fantastic writer in my opinion. I've listened to 4 other audios. In fact, looking at this part and my scheduling of it, I have actually listened to 4 of the previous audios you would have seen in this part: The Home Truths, Underworld, Guardian of the Solar System, The War to End All Wars. 3 of those stories, of which I think are really good. The Sarah Kingdom trilogy in particular, wasn't too much a fan of The War to End All Wars personally, but I am still really looking forward to listening to this audio. So we have Doctor Who, Peter Purvis and Jean Marsh and the Sontarans by Simon Guerrier. First Doctor there, featuring Dan Starkey and Gemma Churchill. Brand New Adventures, The Early Adventures, and then for this kaleidoscopic cover we have a very self-technological background with Sarah Kingdom there, Sontaran, another Sontaran being sort of eaten up by some sort of molten metal looking stuff at the bottom there. Stephen the Doctor, big sort of three finger claw thing from the Sontaran's hands, live long and prosper. And then for the background we have all sorts of planets and stuff, what look like little Sontaran search beams and sticks and stuff. It's an absolutely jaw-dropping cover. The Audio Adventures of Doctor Who. And for the spine we have Doctor Who the Sontarans 3.4 Big Finish. And the back we have the Sontarans synopsis, Doctor Who, running time 120 minutes approx, and various copyright guff there. The Sontarans, written by Simon Guerrier, directed by Kent Bentley. The TARDIS arrives on a moon-sized asteroid orbiting two gas giants. With an amazing view, it's a chance for the Doctor, Stephen and Sarah to unwind after their recent adventures. But they quickly find themselves in the midst of a battle. On one side, a familiar group of space-suited soldiers, members of the Space Security Service. On the other, strange, squat aliens in body armour. Surviving the initial hostiles, the Doctor and his friends discover that the SSS squad are on a terrifying mission, with many lives at stake. They have to venture deep into the asteroid in search of a hideous weapon, but who can they trust in the battle against these Sontarans? And then there you've got the cast down at the bottom there. For the interior we have the alternative cover there. Disc 1 featuring parts 1 and 2. Ooh, listen to that newness. And then there you've got disc 2 featuring parts 3 and 4. So yeah, there's that. And then there you've got advertisements for other early adventures at the back there. Series 1 and Series 2. Alright, yes. Actually bits of Series 1, Series 2 and bits of Series 3 there. Then for the booklet we have the original cover there with the alternative there. Then the member of the cast there, Doctor Who magazine, production credits there. So yes, I have heard nothing but positive things about this audio adventure from the early adventures range. I have heard that this is just meant to be an absolutely incredible Doctor Who audio, and I am most certainly looking forward to this audio drama by Simon Guerrier. It's going to be really interesting to see a Sontaran First Doctor story on audio, and as you would expect, yes, this does take place within sort of the Daleks Master Plan area, and yes, this is a very big sort of Daleks Master Plan themed part of the Triumph of the 60s, as you can tell, because I've unboxed so much in it that is to do with the 1960s. But yeah, there we go. There was the third part of the Triumph of the 60s, in which I unboxed a whole bunch of audios revolving around the Daleks Master Plan, or taking place in between the Daleks Master Plan of the Water Ender Wars, slap bang in the middle. But yeah, there we go. There was the Sontarans by Simon Guerrier, and on to the next unboxing. And upon to the final Big Finish boxing for this video we ascend. Yeah, looking at a tiny hole in the package, I know what this is. This is the last Big Finish audio for this video, and it is also the final thing I'll be showcasing in part 5 of this video. So it is... Oh, actually, I stand corrected. This is actually 2 audios from part 4. So, and due to the ordering I've done these in, I can't show you one of them yet. So, let me see here. Right, the one I can show you at the moment is the Yes Men by Simon Guerrier. So yes, the first part of part 4 is the Yes Men. So without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation of this audio. So we have Doctor Who, Annika Wells and Fraser Hines in the Yes Men by Simon Guerrier, featuring Elliot Chapman, Brand New Adventures, The Early Adventures, Big Finish. And then for the sort of cover itself, we have Second Doctor, Polly, big sort of cathedral-like city in the background, which reminds me of the steps from the invasion of St Paul's Cathedral, if I've got my buildings correct. Rendition of the Patrick Troughton title sequence in the background, and a very nice sort of sepia tone with some computer coding laced in the background, with two robots at the front here, again encased in a sepia tone with minor sort of green and red hints on them. It's a very nice cover, and so is this audio from what I've heard. The audio adventures of Doctor Who. Doctor Who, the Yes Men, 2.1, Big Finish, with a nice picture of Troughton at the top there. And then we have the back here with the synopsis, cast, Doctor Who, various copyright guff, and the running time, which is 120 minutes approx. The Yes Men, written by Simon Guerrier, directed by Lisa Bowerman. The Doctor, Jamie, Polly and Ben arrive in New Houston, an Earth colony in the 4th sector, which the Doctor previously saved from an alien invasion. He wishes to pay his respects for his late friend Meg Carvosa, but something is not quite right with New Houston's subservient robots. And for the interior, we have the first disc there with parts 1 and 2, and then we have the second disc there with parts 3 and 4, and advertisements for the very first series of the early adventures. Taking a look at the booklet now, we have a comparisons of the alternative cover and then the original cover, with advertisements for The Forsaken, Doctor Who magazine, and other sort of production credits there. So yes, I have heard that this is meant to be one of the absolute best early adventure audios. I think I want to say this and the Sontarans are the most well liked Big Finish early adventure audios that have ever been produced. So I am most certainly looking forward to this, and it's written by Simon Guerrier, who is an incredible Doctor Who writer, as I mentioned in part 3, or the unboxings you've just seen, or the unboxing you just saw rather, which was of the Sontarans, funnily enough. But yeah, massively hyped and quite looking forward to looking into the Yes Men. And on to the next unboxing. It's a bit of an awkward one, this one. Quite unique, I would say. Got a cardboard bunker for this thing. This next audio is another early adventure, the Ravelli Conspiracy. So for the presentation of this Doctor Who audio, we have BBC Doctor Who, Maureen O'Brien and Peter Purves in the Ravelli Conspiracy by Robert Kahn and Tom Salinsky, with a picture of the first Doctor there, featuring Mark Frost, Robert Hands, Olivia Poutlet. Big Finish, Brand New Adventures, The Early Adventures, and then there you've got 3 characters from the story. The Doctor, Stephen and Vicky, big sort of ink symbol, wax symbol in the background, with sort of what looks like a historical scripture in the background in this big chapel. Very, very nice cover. Audio Adventures of Doctor Who on the spine there. And then for the spine we have Doctor Who, picture of the first Doctor, the Ravelli Conspiracy, 4.3.3, Big Finish. And for the back we have the synopsis, cast, Doctor Who, running times 120 minutes approx, various copyright guff, and the barcode down there. The Ravelli Conspiracy by Robert Kahn and Tom Salinsky, directed by Lisa Bowerman. When the TARDIS lands in a house in Florence, Italy in 1514, it isn't long before the guards of Galeno de Mency arrest Stephen and Vicky. To rescue them, the Doctor has to employ the help of the house owner, one Niccolo Machiavelli, but can he be completely trusted? Galeno confesses to his brother Pope Leo X that he has angered the wealthy family Revelli and believes that the newcomers may be part of an assassination plot. But when the Doctor arrives, an already tricky situation starts to spiral out of control. As the city rings with plot and counterplot, betrayal and lies abound, the Doctor and his friends must use all of their ingenuity if they are not to be swept away by history. This conspiracy is about to get complicated. Sounding a lot like The Massacre, and you all know how I feel on The Massacre. Goodness me. And then we've got the first disc there, containing the first 2 parts. All listen to that newness. And then there you've got the second disc there, containing parts. Then we have the full booklet. We have the original cover compared to the alternative, which I much prefer. And then there you've got advertisements for Doctor Who The Sontarans. And then there you've got Doctor Who magazine advertisements there, and then production credits there. So yes, this is one Doctor Who audio that did intrigue me at the start. It really does sound like a good, pure historical story. When it first came out, it really did intrigue me, as it really did sound like a good, pure historical Doctor Who story. And now I've re-listened to The Massacre, and that sort of set the tone a little, and yeah, I'm not too sure how to feel on it now. I'm also really interested in listening to the Revelli conspiracy, even though they sound a lot like The Massacre, which is one of my least favourite William Hartnell stories, to be honest. And before I conclude this unboxing, I noticed a very interesting misprint on my copy of the Revelli conspiracy here. So on the original, down here we've got a character that's holding a dagger which sort of goes into there. So this is the original cover there. As you can see, his dagger goes into there. But then if we flip it round to the alternative, you can see that for some reason the part that's from the original here on the banner is all the way down here for some reason. That is a really bizarre misprint, and that is quite an interesting little thing to point out. But either ways, on to the next unboxing. When I opened the package that this one was in earlier, there was a second audio within the same package. I thought it was a big chunky release like in a jewel case, but no, it wasn't. It was this one, and the audio I'm going to show you now, which is the ISOS network. So for the cover of this audio, we have Doctor Who, Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury in the ISOS network by Nicholas Briggs, featuring Nicholas Briggs as the Cybermen, Big Finish, Brand New Adventures, The Early Adventures. And then for the cover itself, we've got a very big nice splash of water there, massive sort of purple tinted sort of electronic circuitry background with the Doctor there and these sort of wavelengths sort of covery thing. And then there we've got sort of spikes of some sort of machine by the looks of it. Zoe, Jamie, more circuitry background, Cyber Controller from Two and the Cybermen there, and an Invasion Cyberman there with a very sort of nice sort of red tunnel effect behind it. It adds a really nice sort of bit of three-dimensional depth to the cover. It's very good. Brand New Adventures, The Early Adventures, Big Finish, the audio adventures of Doctor Who on the side there. Doctor Who, the ISOS Network 2.4, Big Finish, with a picture of Pat Troughton at the top there. The ISOS Network, and we have the back here with the synopsis, cast, Doctor Who, various copyright guff, running times 120 minutes approximately. And now for the synopsis. The ISOS Network, written and directed by Nicholas Briggs. The Doctor, Jamie and Zoe are leaving Earth after having successfully defeated a Cyberman invasion. The cyber fleet is still exploding, but something is escaping through the mass of vaporizing debris. In hot pursuit, the Doctor and his friends find themselves drawn to a mysterious planet, where strange beasts slither through the streets, and of a deserted city, and an old enemy lurks beneath the surface. As a force of heavily armed aliens arrive, a battle to save the entire galaxy from invasion begins. So this takes place immediately after the invasion. And then there we've got Disc 1, Parts 1 and 2 for the interior. And then there you've got Disc 2 containing Parts 3 and 4 there, with advertisements for the complete Series 1 of the early adventures and the previous 3 installments of the early adventures, or previous 3 audios of the second series of the early adventures, this one of which being the finale of the reign of the series. And then there we've got the booklet there with the sort of original cover and the alternative cover compared, and then there we've got the picture of the cast, advertisements for Doctor Who magazine and production credits. So yes, I am really looking forward to listening to the ISOS network. This is a Doctor Who audio that's intrigued me for a little while now, and I am looking forward to listening to it, as this is meant to be done like a target novelisation, a little with lots of narration, so I think this is going to be a very interesting listen, and it's great to have another Pat Troughton Cyberman story, as his Cybermen stories are fantastic. I don't think there's a dud. Wheel in Space is okay, but the rest of them are just great. The Moon Base, Tim the Cybermen, The Invasion. So yeah, it's nice to have a 5th Pat Troughton Cyberman story. So yes, there was the ISOS network. And upon to the next unboxing we ascend upon. The Lost Story release, The Queen of Time. So for the cover of this audio we have Doctor Who, Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury perform The Queen of Time by Brian Hales, adapted by Catherine Harvey. And there you've got the sort of picture of the second Doctor there, 50 years, BBC Big Finish, with Carolyn Fabura as Hebuka, and then as Hecuba, and then there you've got the Lost Stories, Hecuba there with a big flowing gown of gears and clockwork and stuff, and then there you've got 6 clocks in the background with the second Doctor, Jamie and Zoe there, all sort of encased in clocks and stuff. Very interesting and sort of psychedelic cover, very nice. And for the spine we have a picture of the second Doctor there, Doctor Who, The Queen of Time 4.2 Big Finish. And then for the back we have the synopsis. Running time is 120 minutes approx, and various copyright guff there. Barcode, Big Finish, BBC. Doctor Who, The Lost Stories, The Queen of Time, written by Brian Hales, adapted by Catherine Harvey, directed by Lisa Bowerman. The Lost Stories, adventures that were originally devised for the Doctor Who television series but never made, and are available to hear for the first time. Somewhere outside in our universe she is waiting, a godlike immortal living in a realm of clocks. The hours tick slowly as she plots and plans. She is readying her trap, a trap for a very special man in a very special police box. Hecuba has all the time in the world, but for the Doctor, time is running out. Then for the interior of this release we have the first disc there, which is really nice. Got Hecuba there and Zoe down there. That's parts 1 and 2 right there. And now how do I open this? Is it this way? It's got to be this way, isn't it? It's this way. Come on, there we go. I told you it was this way. There we go. And then there you've got disc 2 there, containing Hecuba and Jamie, with parts 3 and 4 there. Advertisements for other Lost Story adventures there. And then for the booklet we have the original cover compared to the alternative there, which I much prefer, as always. And then they've got production notes, The Queen of Time, Wendy Padbury, Caroline Faber and Fraser Hines. promo sort of behind the scenes pic there. Very nice and stunning bit of concept artwork there. Then there you've got cast and credits, and there you've got the next episode, Lords of the Red Planet. And then you've got all the hotlines there and advertisements for Doctor Who magazine there, and then you've got the alternative cover once again there. So yes, this is one Doctor Who audio that does intrigue me a lot, and I am really keen on listening to it, and I will be reviewing this in the future, as it just sounds like an extremely intriguing story, and I'm interested in how it's going to play out, and I will be reviewing this sometime down the line. So there we go, there was the Lost Stories release, the Queen of Time. Upon to the next two unboxings we ascend, with this parcel here. For within this parcel we have the First Doctor Companion Chronicles Volume 2, which has unfortunately got some cracks on the cover. Up your game up, Speedy Hen. So there we go, we have the First Doctor Companion Chronicles Volume 2. So without further ado, let's take a look at the presentation of this audio set. So we have Doctor Who, Maureen O'Brien, Peter Pavers and Anna K. Wills perform the First Doctor Volume 2, featuring Elliot Chapman, Robert Hands and Nicholas Briggs as the Dalek. Brand New Adventures, the First Doctor up there, Vicky, Stephen, Ben, Polly, a Dalek, and a character from within this box set here. I think I may know who it is, but I'm not going to say. And then there we've got sort of a big sort of planet sort of exploding in the background, sort of more planets and stuff. All sort of against this sort of fiery sort of motif. It's very beautiful cover. Brand New Adventures, Big Finish, the Companion Chronicles, with a few cracks on the jewel case there, but whatever. And then for the spine we have a picture of the First Doctor, Doctor Who the Companion Chronicles, the First Doctor Volume 2, Number 2, Big Finish. And then for the back we have Doctor Who the Companion Chronicles, the First Doctor Volume 2, 4 brand new dramatic performances from the First Doctor era, directed by Lisa Bowerman, Helen Goldwyn. Then there you've got Doctor Who, 4 CDs, various copyright guff. Running time is 270 minutes approximately, and then there we've got the synopsises for all of the stories in this audio box set. Starting off with what is my most hyped from the entire set, Fields of Terror by John Pritchard. The TARDIS has brought the Doctor back to revolutionary France, a place that's always fascinated them, but this time he along with Stephen and Vicky are drawn into a devastated land, caught between the soldiers who are burning all before them and a monstrous shape that follows in their wake. See, that's my most hyped story out of this set, because it just sounds so amazing and just dark, and it's a sequel to the Reign of Terror, as you would tell, and I personally think the Reign of Terror is a fantastic story personally. I think it's great, maybe a bit talkative towards the end, but I think it's a great underrated 6-parter from Hartnell. Across the Darkened City by David Bartlett. On a planet shade, the Canons, an invading race of strange amorphous creatures that ravenously absorb energy. Having reduced the city there to a desolate ruin, separated from the Doctor and Vicky, Stephen has to join forces with an unexpected ally to find his way back to the TARDIS. Ahead lies a nightmare journey through the dark, a test of endurance and trust. See, I know what the story is talking about with an unexpected ally, as I have seen Perry Smith 11's review, and I think that might be my least hyped from the set, to be honest, if I'm honest. The Bonfires of Vanities by Una McCormack. When the Doctor, Polly and Ben arrive in Louise in the late 1950s, they're just in time to celebrate Guy Fawkes Night. But there's no fun on the streets tonight. The town is in the grip of fear. There are imps on the loose in Louise. The Bonfire Boys are on the march, and nobody is safe from the fire. The Plague of Dreams by Guy Adams. Pray Welcome. one and all. This is a fantasy in two acts, presented most humbly for your pleasure. We bring you drama and magic, angels and demons, a tale of mysterious plague, and of nightmares made of flesh, of a war fought both in this world and those immeasurably distant. A war, in fact, fought through the mists of time itself. It will make you gasp, it will make you weep, it might even make some of you wake up. So yes, I've heard the Plague of Dreams is meant to be a very companion chronicle sort of format, boundary pushing, testing sort of audio, so it should be an interesting listen. And there we've got the first CD there, which is the Fields of Terror, with the alternative cover there, which hopefully I'll swap around, with a very stiff CD there. And there we've got the booklet, which I'll take a look at in a minute. Then there you've got disc 2, Across the Darkened City. And then we have the Bonfire of Vanities and the Plague of Dreams there, with advertisements for early adventures and companion chronicle releases there. For a look at the booklet, we have just the cover again there. Then there you've just got pictures of the cast, advertisements for Doctor Who magazine, the cast, and then there you've just got production credits down there. So yes, I've heard that this set is meant to be an absolutely fantastic set. I've heard that, no, actually I think I've heard every single story in this set is meant to be great, and I am most certainly hyped for this set, and I will be reviewing this set in the future as it just sounds amazing in my opinion. Particularly the Fields of Terror, which as I said is a sequel to the Reign of Terror, which in my opinion is quite the underrated Hartnell story in my opinion. So there we go, we have the First Doctor Companion Chronicles Volume 2. For this next little package here we have yep, you guessed it, it's the First Doctor Companion Chronicles Volume 1. In terms of looking at the case, it isn't as cracked as Volume 2 is, which is a good thing I guess. There's only a couple ones at the back here. So for the cover we have BBC Doctor Who, Caroline Ford, Maureen O'Brien and Peter Purvis performed the First Doctor Companion Chronicles Volume 1, featuring Alex Dunmo, Alice Haig and Darren Strange. Big finish, the brand new adventures, the Companion Chronicles. And for the cover itself we've got quite a simplistic and nice one. I would say I prefer the cover to Volume 2, but this is still quite a nice one. Sort of set against this cyany tinted or sort of sepia tone tinted version or rendition of the William Hartnell title sequence Vortex. For a bit of sky at the background there we have Maureen O'Brien, Peter Purvis, Stephen Taylor and Vicky, Caroline Ford as Susan, and the First Doctor taking centre stage there with the TARDIS and a planet there. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who The Companion Chronicles Volume 1, the First Doctor, number 1, Big Finish. And for the back we have Doctor Who The Companion Chronicles Volume 1, the First Doctor, 4 brand new dramatic readings from the First Doctor era, directed by Lisa Bowerman. Then there we've got Doctor Who, running time is 240 minutes approximately, or 4 hours. And then we've got 4 CDs there, various copyright guff there. And now for the synopsises. The Sleeping Blood by Martin Day. Exploring a disused research centre in search of medical supplies, Sudan becomes embroiled in the deadly plans of a terrorist holding an entire world to ransom, and the soldier sent to stop him. The Unwinding World by Ian Potter. Office life is tough, the commute is a grind, nothing works quite as well as you'd like. Vicky seems to remember things better once, before the little flat. It's time she put some excitement back in her life. It's just a shame the Doctor can't help. The Founding Fathers by Simon Guerrier. The TARDIS lands in Leicester Square in the summer of 1762, when the Doctor, Stephen and Vicky find themselves locked out of the TARDIS. Only one man can possibly help him, but the American, Benjamin Franklin, has problems of his own. The Locked Room by Simon Guerrier once again. Stephen Taylor left the Doctor in the TARDIS to become king of an alien world, but it's now many years since he gave up the throne and went to live in a cell in the mountains. He's not escaping his past, quite the opposite. In fact, as his granddaughter Sida is about to discover. I haven't really... I've pretty much sort of forgotten about this set in terms of like the sort of general consensus of it, of what it is and stuff. I mean, all of the salaries sound pretty good, but like the only one that really jumps out to me as being, oh, that sounds outstanding, is The Locked Room by Simon Guerrier. I think every single one in Volume 2 sounded pretty great to me. All of the first three just sound a bit okay, and The Locked Room does sound pretty amazing though, in my opinion. There we've got the first disc, The Sleeping Blood, with the alternative cover there. The booklet, which again I'll take a look at in a minute. Disc 2, The Unwinding World. Disc 3, The Founding Fathers. And Disc 4, The Locked Room, with advertisements for other Companion Chronicle releases at the back there. As I could... No, this was after the Early Adventures, wasn't it? Yeah, my mistake. Or after the Early Adventures started, rather, in my, should I say. Yep, Big Finish Productions 2015. For the booklet, we just have the sort of cover again there. Sort of advertisements for Doctor Who magazine there, and sort of cast and credits there. The cast with the sort of stories down the cast, a bit more copyright guff down there, and production credits around there. So yes, I am greatly looking forward to listening to these sets and reviewing them sometime in the future for you guys, and it is nice sort of bulk for the 60s era, ever-growing 60s era collection, and I am happy to get these two sets. As you know, First Doctor, William Hartnell, my favourite Doctor, he's just absolutely great, and it's great to get some more stories from him. And yeah, I'm just greatly looking forward to listening to these sets, particularly Volume 2, but Volume 1 I am as well, even though most of the blurbs on it didn't sound that outstanding in my opinion. But nonetheless, I am greatly looking forward to listening to these sets, and I will be reviewing them in the future. Because of technical difficulties for some recordings of two particular unboxings throughout the video, I will no longer be including those unboxings, and I'll just show the items that I was unboxing in those unboxings here now, just sort of in the style of what I did with the 3 Target paperbacks at the start of the video. So for the first one, we have the Jigsaw War. This is a sort of Big Finish companion chronicle that I am really interested in listening to. The synopsis sounds like an absolute amazing, makes it sound like an absolutely amazing story, and I am really interested and excited to see where this story goes. And this is probably, yeah, I'm going to say this is going to be one of the first audios from this video you will see me review. I think my next videos or video reviews after this will be the Jigsaw War, the ISOS Network, and Fury from the Deep. I think those are going to be my next 3 reviews I'm going to be working on after the Triumph of the 60s. So yes, there was the Jigsaw War, a Big Finish audio that I am really interested in listening to. The synopsis just sounds amazing, and I've heard nothing but praise from this audio. I am massively looking forward to this audio. Then we have the Second Doctor, Companion Chronicles Volume 1. This is a set that I am really, really interested in listening to. Out of all 3 of the Companion Chronicles sets that I have shown in this part, this is the one that I'm most looking forward to, as the synopsis just sound amazing, the concepts really intrigue me, and I've also heard that the Brains of Malphon from Keys of Marinus Episode 2, The Screaming Jungle, return in this in one of the companion chronicles in here somehow. I don't particularly know how that's going to work, but I am still really interested and excited on giving this a listen. I feel like this is going to be one hell of a treat of a box set release, and I am also greatly looking forward into listening to this in the future. The Mouthless Dead sounding like a sort of end of the line style companion chronicle that really intrigues me by concept, as it just sounds like an absolutely amazing story, and all of the stories in here sound amazing, to be honest. I think The Mouthless Dead will be my most hyped, but I am realistically looking forward to all of the Big Finish audios that are encased within this set. So yeah. So there was 2 additional audios for this video, the Jigsaw Wall and then the Second Doctor Companion Chronicles Volume 1 containing The Mouthless Dead, The Story of Extinction, The Integral and The Edge. And on to the next unboxing for this video, and on to the 6th and final part of Underworld Updates, The Triumph of the Sixties.
And on to the next unboxing in this massive 60s era themed collection update with another sort of book bundle. This features more W.H. Allen hardbacks in it, this one of which I'm pretty happy to have. And there we go. Try not to show too much of them. There we go. So going through these chronologically, the first one that I'm going to be showing today is the Target novelisation hardback of Galaxy 4. So for the front of this book we have Doctor Who Galaxy 4 William Ems, then we have the unnamed planet in the background there, sort of on the border of disintegration. It's a very nice sort of picture. And we have 2 drivers at the front there, sort of nice sort of explosion-y type of sort of fireball sort of effect, William Ems. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who Galaxy 4 William Ems, W.H. Allen. Then for the back of this book we have the synopsis, who this book was distributed by, illustration by Andrew Skeletor, a £6.50 net sort of original price, and the barcode there. And now for the synopsis. Following a skirmish in deep space, 2 alien spacecraft have crash-landed on a barren planet in Galaxy 4. The Dravens are a race of beautiful females, led by the imperious Marga. The rules are hideous tusked monstrosities, accompanied by their robotic servants, the Chumleys. When the Doctor arrives, he discovers that the planet will explode in 2 days' time. The Dravens desperately ask for his help in escaping the planet, and the belligerent Rills. But things are not always as they seem. Then for the interior of this Doctor Who book we've just got damage from the library that this book was in, with sort of tape around it and stuff, and sort of ripped out in a page. Galaxy 4 sort of library stamp there. Doctor Who Galaxy 4 based on a BBC television serial by William Ems by arrangement of the British Broadcasting Corporation. William Ems, W.H. Allen, London, 1985. And then there you've got various copyright guff, more library guff, the contents of this book there. This is a 4-chaptered Target novelisation spread across 134 pages. And then at the back there you've just got the end of the book. There's just no anything after it. So yeah, really happy to have this Target novelisation a hardback, as I don't know if a top 10 Target videos would have come out by this point, as I've sort of been contemplating on doing one, but bit of a spoiler for that if it hasn't come out yet. This is actually my favourite Target novelisation, the Target novelisation of Galaxy 4, so
having a hardback of what is my favourite Target novelisation is pretty sweet. So yeah, I don't think I've really got much more to say on it other than that. That was a very nice W.H. Allen hardback of Galaxy 4. And for the second and last Target hardback in this little bundle, we have the Dominators. So for the cover we have Doctor Who the Dominators in Marta, a quark in the background there, the drilling device there, another quark, and one of the Dominators themselves there, set against these sort of rocks with a sort of nice sort of starry sort of spacey sky. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who the Dominators in Marta, W.H. Allen, some type of sticker from the library down at the bottom there. And then for the back we have synopsis, recently published titles in the Doctor Who books line, or Target book line, 595 net, the ISBN number. And now for the synopsis. The Doctor remembers Dulcis from a previous visit as a civilised and peaceful place, but times have changed and his second trip is not quite the holiday he was expecting. The Dulcians themselves are more reluctant than ever to engage in acts of violence. The so-called Island of Death, once used as an atomic test site, has served as a dire warning to generations of Dulcians and of the horrifying consequences of warfare. But an alien race prepares to take advantages of their pacifism. The whole planet and its passive inhabitants are threatened with complete annihilation, and no one, it seems, is going to lift a finger to stop the evil Dominators and their unquestioning robot slaves. So very strong blurb there, I will say. And then for the interior we have various library guff, sort of a very sort of damaged page up there, as you can see, very sort of weak unfortunately, but what can you do, it's a nice Target hardback. Dominators, good for the collection. Doctor Who the Dominators, based on BBC television serial by Norman Ashby or Mervyn Haseman and Henry Lincoln, by Regiment of the British Broadcasting Corporation in Marta. W.H. Allen, London, A. Harold and Wyndham Company, 1984. Various copyright guff there, and ex-library guff down there, and the contents of this book. This is a 10-chapter Doctor Who book, spread across 119 pages, and then at the back there we've just got a couple blank pages there. Good for autographs, I guess, as you can see right there. But if I was ever to meet Fraser Hines again, I would actually get another Target hardback. I have that you can be seeing in the next unboxing signed for him, because oh boy is it a special one in my opinion. And I would say that that upcoming Target hardback is the Target hardback that means the most to me in my collection. I'm looking at it right now and it's a beautiful thing to have. But either ways, I'm getting distracted with teasers and whatnot. That was my sort of unboxing of the Galaxy 4 and Dominators hardbacks. Yeah, I'm really happy to have these Target hardbacks in my collection. And on to the next unboxing. On to the next unboxing in this 60s era collection craziness, which is actually the very first thing I'm actually recording for this. And what a way to start the recording sessions. Two very rare W.H. Allen hardbacks in here. One of them is a ex-library. The other one I believe is a non-ex-library, because the seller didn't state that it was an ex-library, but he did with the other one, and he said that this non-ex-library one was brand new, so that's pretty sweet. For the, oh my goodness, this is, oh these are stunning. For the for the ex-library, we have the Underwater Menace. Yeah, very happy to have this one. As I said, I tried to get this for like 16 quid a little while ago off of Amazon, and it has never gone back down in price since. So yeah, I am very happy to have this W.H. Allen hardback in my collection. As it's been a sort of a long time coming for this one for me. And here it is here under protective thing, which I will put it back in. So for the cover we have the Sylvester McCoy Doctor Who sort of thing, sort of logo at the top there. the Underwater Menace, Nigel Robinson, and 3 fish people in this sort of underwater there. Very nice cover. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who, the Underwater Menace, W.H. Allen, and then for the back there we've got the synopsis, who the book was distributed by, £7.95 net, original price, and then the barcode there. When TARDIS lands on a deserted volcanic island, the Doctor and his companions find themselves kidnapped by primitive sea people. Taken into the bowels of the earth, they discover they're in the lost kingdom of Atlantis, offered as sacrifices to the fish goddess Amdo. The Doctor and his companions are rescued from the jaws of death by the famous scientist Zaroff. But when they are not safe, and nor are the people of Atlantis, for Zaroff has a plan that will make him the greatest scientist of all time. He will rise Atlantis above the waves, even if it means destroying the world. And then for the interior of this Doctor Who book, we have Doctor Who, the Underwater Menace. Various ex-library guff there. Underwater Menace, Nigel Robinson, copyright guff there, and other library things, and then the contents of the book there. This is a 137 page long target novelisation spread across, actually 130 long page long target novelisation spread across a prologue, an epilogue, and 11 core chapters. And at the back there we just have blank pages. So yeah, that was the first hardback in this video, a very nice W.H. Allen hardback of the Underwater Menace. Very, very happy to have this one, as I said, it has been sort of a long time coming for me, as I did try to buy it a couple of years ago, but never, but failed to get around to doing so, and yeah, now got it for a good price. And now for the non-X library. This is quite a nice non-X library to have, as it's not one of my favourite stories anymore, but this was one of my childhood Doctor Who stories. This, the 5 Doctors, and Genesis of the Daleks were most likely the first classic stories I ever watched. This is a non-X library of The Mind Robber by Peter Ling.
Yes, the second unboxing or second hardback that I'll be showcasing in this section is a magnificent non-X library hardback of The Mind Robber. Yeah, in the original clip I didn't go into very much depth or detail about this hardback as I would have liked, sort of thinking back on it. So here in this sort of light change, I am going to be sort of reduxing the clip and reviewing it essentially, in the sense of why this means so much to me. So yes, this is easily the highlight of this video for me personally, and I'm going to go into depth as to why. So we have Doctor Who, the Mind Robber, Peter Ling, set against a sort of very nice sort of pink background, with all sort of set against this burgundy circle with very sort of kaleidoscopic, almost sort of cartoony sort of explosions of stars and stuff, with the TARDIS up there, Lancelot, Unicorn, the sort of explorer from episode 2, I forget his name, or some sort of pirate wielding a sword, I forget, it's been a while since I've seen the Mind Robber. Then there we've got Medusa down there, absolutely stunning cover art to the Mind Robber hardback or Mind Robber target book. Then for the spine we have Doctor Who, the Mind Robber, Peter Ling, W.H. Allen, and then for the back we have the synopsis, who this book was distributed by, the original price £7.25 net, and then the barcode down there. To escape a catastrophic volcanic eruption, the Doctor takes the TARDIS out of space and time and into a void where he can only describe as nowhere. But the crisis is far from over. When the time machine's circuits overload, the TARDIS explodes. The Doctor, Jamie and Zoe come to in a dark, unearthly forest. There they encounter a host of characters who seem somehow familiar. A beautiful princess with long flaxen hair, a sea traveller dressed in 18th century clothes, and a white rabbit frantically consulting his pocket watch. What is happening to the 3 time travellers? What strange powers guides their actions? In the land of fiction, who can really tell? And for the interior of this Doctor Who book, and yes, as I probably have already mentioned, this is a non-X library.
So yeah, so for the interior it is extremely white. As you can see, Doctor Who the Mind Robber there, it's crystal white. For Dave Baldock with Love and Gratitude, Doctor Who the Mind Robber, based on the BBC television series by Peter Ling, by arrangement of British Broadcasting Corporation, Peter Ling, W.H. Allen, London. Then there you've got the various copyright guff there, and then the contents there. This is a 10-chaptered Doctor Who book spread across 137 pages, and at the very back there it ends very nicely on finis, or if you prefer it, the end, and that is across 10 chapters with more blank pages at the back there. So yes, to end this entire video, I have unboxed a W.H. Allen non-X library hardback of The Mind Robber by Peter Ling. As I stated in the beginning of this video, and as you all probably know, 60s Doctor Who, it's my absolute favourite era of the show. It's where it was the most creative, in my opinion, with how compelling the storylines are. Mind Robber is the story that started my entire 1960s era journey. It was one of the very first classic Doctor Who stories I ever watched. It, Genesis of the Daleks, and the Five Doctors are most likely the first 3 classic Doctor Who stories I ever watched, this being my first ever 1960s era story. So having this hardback in my collection, and it being a non-X library, and it being mint condition, and it being completely unread, is just the ultimate in my opinion, as this is essentially the rarest and most valuable version of the Mind Robber you can have in your collection. A non-X library, pristine condition of the hardback of the novelisation of the Mind Robber. It just means the absolute world to me, this W.H. Allen hardback, because the Mind Robber is the story that started my entire 1960s era journey, and it just means so much to me to have this hardback in my collection. I don't like the story as much anymore, but episode 1 is still magnificent in my opinion, and I still like some elements to it, such as I find some quite significant charm in episode 5, I guess you would say, with again the sort of way the story sort of climaxes and stuff, and the sort of battle that happens at the end of the story is a bit cartoony and a bit niche, I guess you would say, but I still find significant charm in it. And The Mind Robber is a story that I don't like that much anymore. I just find it to get a bit sort of annoying after a while, but it is still a story that I sort of look up to in terms of how sort of creative 60s Doctor Who was, and this is one of only 2 fantasy stories that 60s era Doctor Who did, the Celestial Toymaker and this, both of which I have in non-X library W.H. Allen hardback form, with Celestial being signed by Peter Purvis, and maybe in the future I'll get this signed by Fraser Hines, which I probably will if I ever get the chance to see him again. And it just means the absolute world to me to have this hardback in my collection, and I have absolutely no regrets spending £40 on this hardback. It just means the absolute world to me to have this hardback in my collection, as it is the rarest and pretty much the ultimate version of the Mind Robber when it comes to having collectibles of the certain story that is the Mind Robber. And it just means the absolute world to me, this hardback, and I am so honoured to end this video on unboxing a W.H. Allen hardback, mint condition, non-X library, unread copy of the hardback of The Mind Robber, which is my very first 1960s era story, and I don't think there could have been much better ways to end it, personally for me, because this is quite a significant item in my collection, as I have stated, and I am more than happy to have it. I mean, The Alan Wingate hardback of the Auton invasion is one thing, but this is just in another world for me. It's unreal to have.